That's frost. Okay, that's frost. So we have reached the freeze point. The scope is frozen. The estimate, if we prepare it, which these days everybody wants one, every client wants an estimate. So at this point, the estimate is down to the accuracy of what? Plus minus? Who is for 10? You win. Okay, 10%. So plus minus 10%. Everything is frozen, really. We're still working, but now the process engineering department is calling their people, say, well, you don't need to be on that project anymore. And so they go to other better projects. Okay. And whoever stays on the project in process engineering will now work on remaining minor data and firm up all kinds of data that has been in preliminary stages before. And this is another thing that is kind of specific to process, the global safety issues, relief headers, quality control audit, and that kind of stuff. It's other than the flare header size, which is of much interest to piping and people who are providing structures for it, it's very little, has very little effect on the project. Okay, and then all the documents are finalized by the people who are remaining on the project from process. Now we are in the which phase? After the design issue of P&IDs, we are in the detailed design phase, the fourth layer on the pyramid. And we issue P&IDs for construction. We are in a detailed design phase. We issue P&IDs for construction. Make sense? So that the construction can start. I would like to warn you that P&IDs for construction are not used for construction. You can't construct anything out of the construction issue of the P&IDs. Those have to be detailed design documents that are construction drawings. So there's a little bit of a language problem here, if I may. We call them issued for construction. Now, construction might prepare test diagrams from those P&IDs. And test diagrams are used for testing, which is a part of construction. And so we have now construction issue. We have gone through as is, which is updating the P&IDs that do exist with the equipment and systems that do exist in the plant. Through the in-house, now we're working on our project. Through the approval, going to the client for their last-minute changes and comments. Through hazard and operability studies. Through design, which is a freeze point, and to construction. Now, at this point, we might have one or two process engineers left on the project part-time. Remember, the P&IDs are now owned by whom after the design issue? Piping. Piping is the right answer, yeah. Piping owns the P&IDs after that, although the process engineers might have their own master copy, but the project master copy is with Piping from this point on. And then the construction phase takes place. And sure enough, there will be some changes happening during construction. So most of the time, not always, but most of the time we are commissioned to update those P&IDs to bring them up to the constructed status, as constructed rather than as designed or as engineered by us. So sometimes they tell us, okay, take your P&IDs and go out there and see the changes that have been done. Sometimes what they do, they have a resident engineer who will, during construction, keep an eye on things that have not been done right, or things that have been done a little bit differently but still right, and he or she will mark up those P&IDs. So you will have a set of the construction markups, and you might have a set that was prepared by somebody who was sent down from the office. Now, it is always a good idea for the client to request a P&ID checkout after the construction was done, because it so happens that sometimes, for example, the check valves might be installed backwards. It looks fine to people who are mounting the bolts, but only a trained eye will figure out whether that check valve is backwards, or other things that have been done improperly. And process engineers are typically, and some piping people also, are typically the best people to go out there and verify that the plant has been constructed as intended by the process engineers and the collaborators who are working on the P&IDs. So this is the true end of the project for our design people of all kinds. When P&IDs are marked up, when the construction people are told you put that check valve the right way, and so everything gets settled and the markups are brought back to the office, the P&IDs are updated accordingly, and then we issue the as-built, which is the right name for them, as-built P&IDs. Okay? Any questions at this time? We are doing real well with time. There will be no next session other than repeat session next week. So any questions about equipment? Any questions about lines and valves? What are the special requirements? We have talked about some of the special requirements from the operability standpoint. See, that's another thing, that when somebody goes out there and checks the P&IDs, and the P&ID carries the note that such and such valve must be operable by a person from grade or from some platform, and somebody, due to some economic considerations, they wanted to have the ladder installed in their house rather than at this valve. So there will be no ladder, and this is the process engineer who will actually look at the P&ID and see the note and then make a comment that the ladder is to be put there. Wow, we are pretty well done.
What about the quiz?
Yeah, that's... Now, what I would like to do is hold you up here forever, but I know you have other better reasons to leave, except we still have to do the quiz, as I promised. Those who have not been here yesterday will have to stay, so after the break, we'll do the quiz, which takes maybe half an hour or so. Those who have been here yesterday already took the quiz, so you are free to do whatever you want with your time.
Can we just have the quiz now and then after we finish we can...
You want the quiz now without the break? Who wants to take the quiz now without the break? So whoever wants a break, take a break. Whoever wants to stay, you can stay. Those who did the quiz yesterday might be able to leave.